What are some of the best champions that will be handy in the upcoming Sagas Incursions? Hi, everybody. Hope you're doing well. So as a lot of you know, tomorrow the incursions, the Murderworld incursions start on July 10th. I assume 10 a.m. PST, 11 a.m. PST. July 10th. Get right involved with it. In the particular Murder Worlds, we'll probably have to do a separate... There'll probably be like I don't know, a forum post about this, but I thought what I'd do is I'd get ahead to kind of choose some champions that are going to be just beneficial based on different factors. But for this, you will only need to do up to Zone 10 if you're doing the Higher, Further, Faster event for Magnetron Crystals, which of course is said there. Overseer and Shocker will be champions that will feature heavily as bosses, I would say. So you might want to think about auto block counter champions, and we'll talk about some of those options in a minute. And there's a spreadsheet in the description if you do, do want to check them out. There'll also be updates and removals to the defenders list, which I'm not quite sure on what they are at the point of recording this video. Kabam haven't released the incursions forum post, and if it's similar to this one, this is from the last Saga one, which of course is a bit different on this one. So yeah, like this is, I'm just going to use this as reference for some of the new hacks and things, because that will be relevant to everything. There's also going to be some new champions we'll talk about, but we'll just jump into the spreadsheet, which is this one here. Boom. And this is in the link in the description. And I've cherry-picked some champions. First of all, shout out to Mysti Knight. We'll put a link to Mysti Knight's X, and this is where this is all from. You can see these are the various champions you've got to pick from. There are going to be some good ones, some less than savoury ones, some odd ones, and ones you'll just go, oh, this obviously doesn't work. A good example is Angela. Works very well with this, depending on which hacks you choose. Gladiator is a fantastic option, but will be better with certain hacks you choose. The same thing for Cosmic Ghost Rider. But on the flip side, there's champions that don't work quite as well. Well, debatable with Wolverine, because I do feel that he would need the Horseman synergy, but he probably would do well enough. There would be Mars Morales, MODOK, Red Guardian, again another iffy one, because if you do the right kind of pair-ups. But you've definitely got Green Goblin, won't be very good. Then there's Silver Sable, Squirrel Girl, Blade. Ones that don't really kind of cut it as much. And I've probably missed out a lot from this that would be very effective. But that's the thing. This spreadsheet already took several hours to make, and it's now 11 PM and I should be thinking about going to bed. But I wanted to make at least kind of like something to go, hey, tomorrow, think about these because they are highly rated. They can be very effective. They've got decent pre-fights, or one's got a pre-fight. Someone's got interactivity with a certain thing. That's something to point out. So just quickly, effective general options that are going to be great with any buff hacks or improvements or additions by adding buffs on. So basically, you know, like choose buff cornucopia. You'll choose something that improves the potency of fury buffs. I think it's Rage into Combat. Oh, that champion has a fury buff. Oh, that helps out that. A lot of the time you have to think. Incursions is all about thinking about the champions you've got, the team you've set out to use with, and also the type of buffs you're going to add to it. That's why Angela's always incredibly effective, especially under the champion's buff, which I assume would be today, that he gains a lot of buffs. And if he gains a lot of buffs, hey, that's going to trigger buff cornucopia very, very nicely. There's also a high amount of regen. Improves the survivability of the champion. So that could be just another great option. We've also got Deathless Vision. Deathless Vision, which if you wait, don't have to do it now. You don't have to do incursions now, this saga, when it releases, because you do have until the 4th of August to actually get it done. And by that time, you should, fingers crossed, be seeing that champion to be purchased and used. So look, good luck to you. Hopefully it's a case, it's a great champion that you can use within your rotation. So back to the options, because as I said, there are tons of options to consider. I'm personally a big fan of Proud Degen and Drain Degen. That either you power control, like you start it off by knocking down an opponent in some regards, and then kind of like, okay, you get a degen, or you get the what is it called, power lock, and then you can just hit in and start getting degen and start churning that up. Of course, pair that with stuff like damage over time degen, debuff reinforcement degen, and several other hacks. Hey, the easiest thing to remember with this, does it have this debuff or this buff? Yes, the champion has that. What is the hack or the boost, the rare hack, boss hack, whatever? What is it improving? Well, it's improving what the champion has, because they have that particular debuff, or they'll get it as part of something. Well, if you reinforce it and improve it, it does more damage. And that's the kind of line of thinking with it. It goes a bit further than that, because there are so many other things to it. Like if you have... There's one that will grant you a auto block, I think, counter and an evade counter. And if you've got those options within it, just read the hacks thoroughly and go, does this champion, or will this champion, get that as a result? And is it worth getting? Mainly because of the two champions you're going to face off most commonly. It's going to be Overseer and it's going to be Shocker. So, for that, auto block counters may be a good way to kind of like consider. And of course, you can set up a different team in different ways. Going on some top tips, I would say, as soon as you get into incursions, literally go up to the first boss hack, or the kind of like the choice of hacks you get, and go, is this the right hack for the champion I've chosen? It's not. Reset. Handy to reset, because you will get that 5-minute timer. So be able to return back in and then try it again. Wait 5 minutes, come in. Start off your incursion run in the most opportune way possible. Set yourself up for the best run you could possibly get. And as I said, switching out champs in this other tip, that's going to be down to you. If a champion you have, and you're like, oh, I really need to switch out Aegon because I haven't either ramped him up or he doesn't work against one of the bosses for whatever reason, then you might lose a lot of persistent charges. That's something to consider as well. But having the right counter for bosses is going to be very important going from start to finish. This is why the likes of Bullseye, Mole Man, I'd say Falcon is an option as well. Could be really good to counter the likes of some of these bosses. But they may have some hacks themselves or some boosts to their nodes that may make the defenders more annoying than you might think. You might have to be forced to change. I'm not saying that you can get away with every single counter that you might set up, because you might have to change. Put boosts on, something that I need to do. One I do a lot actually. And under your boosts, make sure you've got plenty. I have got, and I'm sure a lot of people have got the 15%, a lot of the attack boost, ready and raring to go. Having a lot of this in supply, and of course not spending all of your shards, your solo shards, which if you're doing your solo events, you should have a good amount, will mean that you'll be able to top it up. And don't feel you have to rush into incursions as well. Take your time. Like if you only have time to do, like, I don't know, 20 minutes, 30 minutes one day, then do it. Then just hold off. But do bear in mind, you will have a 5-day cycle. So if your champions are locked in that content, then they're gone. Like they will kind of, if you're in zone 9 going, I only need to do one more zone, and you're like, what, 24 hours away, man, you will be disappointed, because it will take your team out of there. I've had that before. I've been stuck in, like, I ain't stuck. I've been kind of like, I stopped at about, I think, like zone 18, and I decided that I just didn't have the time. And then I think it was like 2 days away, and then all of a sudden, gone, because I forgot to move. It can happen. It can happen to the best of us. You'll also need to do 10 zones. Like the first 10 zones for Magnetron crystals, just do it. Anything up to zone 50, revives, up to you. Up to you if you want to spend any units on this one to get yourself further. I'm sure there's going to be some decent rewards. We don't know yet what they're going to be. Will they be similar to the previous one, these were the rewards from that? Maybe. We'll have to see. There is a good chunk of tier 4 alpha in that from the last time. So there could be a good chunk of tier 4 alpha in. this time. There's a good chance of that. We'll see. We've still got to see. Hopefully there's a forum post coming up for that soon, just so we can get ourselves prepared. And yeah, when choosing hacks, I did say a moment ago, like, you're going to have to, like, choose your team, know what your team is, and then kind of expand from it. As I said, if you've got Fury buff, things that improve Fury buffs. The light hacks, the bigger hacks, your Rage into Combat, Buff Cornucopia, Proud Degen, Draining Degen, loads of different types. I'm naming but a few. There's a ton more. And of course, Kabam are adding in loads. Last season, what did they add in? They added in new hacks of Unstoppable Healthy. They put in Kill and Chill. When a damaging debuff expires on the opponent, gain a Bulwark passive. So that could be helpful. There's Regenerative Assimilation. Gaining a bar of power while hitting the opponent grants an attacker 60% block regen. Actually, I didn't think that was as good last time. But you know what I mean? Like, if the champion has something, that something could help improve, like reading some of these. And of course, that is going to be good. Champion does poison damage. Well, effective reinforcement poison. It does shock. Put it on Shuri, or put it on, and then, you know, Shuri gains the benefit from it. So there's a lot of things that can benefit from this. And the final thing I want to talk about is teams. Of course, whatever team creation is going to be good for you. With Odin, he presents a good starting point to put a pre-fight on. And then what you can do is when you get to the champ choice section, bin him off, take him off, and then put on somebody well, put on the pre-fight first. Use Angela or any cosmic champion, and then he can do his magic. I'm not saying it has to be those champions. Do whatever champion you feel possible. Could be interesting. Use it on Gladiator. Use it on Vox. Use it on whatever you fancy. But I would say it may be good practice to put on have a counter in your team, whether or not it's a power control champion, power control champion, infamous Iron Man, debuff champion, like Shuri, damaging debuff that is. And then, Bullseye. I think Bullseye is going to be fantastic in this one. And Superior Iron Man may turn out to be very good. Deathless Vision. I do not doubt him being effective in this. I also think Deathless King Groot is going to be effective as well. Change it up. Figure out what is good for you. And, those have been some recommendations. I'll put the spreadsheet in the link in the description. Thank you very much for watching. Check out some other content located on Scream. And look forward to more content covering this month's events. Appreciate you. Going to be a busy day. Bye-bye for now.